Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. We talk all things talents in Connecticut. And on tonight's show, I'm pleased to have on a senior who plays for the Woodland Hawks, Zach Drewry. Zach, it's great to be able to have you on, buddy.
How are you? How you doing?
Returning guest. This is the second time
Yeah,
I've had you on here.
glad to be back. Glad to be back.
It's funny because I feel like I'm missing the two other guys, the catcher, and then the
Yeah,
guy who I
no,
thought
no
was a
Belcher,
lefty.
no
Now he's a
Heeman today.
righty.
No Belcher, no Heeman today. Yeah,
But speaking of them really quick, I know we were talking about the righty who is just amazing as far as pitching. How is the catcher doing?
so Belch decided he went up to Bridgewater State. He's not playing baseball. He's going to be a pilot. So he's doing like pilot school, flying school up there. Basically, like he couldn't balance the baseball with the pilot school and pilot. It's like this. He was telling me about it the other day. It's like a sport. You got to practice. You got to go to the classes and everything like that. So
Mhm.
he decided, he wanted that to be his career. So he decided, he chose that over playing in college, where he could have played almost
Mhm.
anywhere he wanted, in my opinion.
No, he was a very talented player. I think obviously all three of you are and still very talented players. Wish the both of them nothing but the best of luck. Now, Zach, as far as you're concerned, and we are concerned, hence why I have you back on here. Woodland, very talented. You guys lost to Northwestern, if I recall, at Muzzy Field, and there was a tough way to be able to end the season. I just want to go back to that, and I know, apologize. I'm sure the wounds are still fresh there, but just kind of take me into just the journey of last year, man, because you guys had a season to remember.
Yeah, it was something. I mean, we started our year off. We got put into COVID protocols in like the first week of the season. So so we're online, like we're all at home. For the first week, our first games get pushed back. Like we were supposed to open up with Sacred Heart on a Saturday, I remember. And then spring break was the week after for us. And so we ended up not playing our Saturday game or our Monday game, which is supposed to be like I think like Crosby or something like that. And so we didn't end up opening up till the Wednesday of spring break against Wolcott. No scrimmages, nothing. We just inter squatted and then had to go out and play. So that was just a crazy start to the season. And then, as we went along, we strung up some big wins early on, and it kept getting deeper into the season. We're like, we started to get our groove. We were undefeated. And then there was the Naugatuck game. I won't detail too much into that, but there ended up being a pitch count violation on Naugatuck's side. So a loss there ended up turning into a win. And then our first real loss was at home versus St. Paul. I mean, they came in and they hit the ball real well against us, and we just couldn't, hold them there. But we finished the season strong. We went to the NBL tournament. We had Naugatuck again. This time we lost to them 2-0 in extra innings. So, for us, like that was like, that was a big blow. But then we had a whole week to wait in between, the end of NBLs and the beginning of the state tournament. And then states, you start off, two NVL teams. You play Seymour in the first round and Watertown in the second. And the whole thing about the state tournament is it's supposed to be a break from the teams you play all the time. And that was the third third time we had saw Seymour that year. The second time we saw Watertown. Then we beat Bacon Academy. That was another, and we had another home game because we were the 2 seed. And then, that game at Muzzy. That game at Muzzy is it's still a little fresh wound, but we had the rain delay. It was supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be on a Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. And we had a rain delay. Game got canceled. Game after ours got canceled. Pushed to the next morning. We played at 9 a.m. on a weekday, I remember. So like I remember we were at school, like warming up in the cage, like music on and everything like that, while all the kids were walking into school, like going to take their finals. It was we ended up losing that game. Some breaks didn't go our way, but I mean, last year was a roller coaster, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. I mean, not just for the team. I mean, everybody kind of stuck through it though, and we had a great year, best year in Woodland history, in which we were, at the end of the year, we didn't make it all the way, but I think we were all proud of what we did.
And I think too, when you look at your team in particular, with the amount of players that are back, even with some of the guys that you did lose, having those ups and downs for the returning players, it makes, I think, you guys as a collective whole stronger preparing for this season, because hopefully COVID is behind. Hopefully Mother Nature, even though of late Mother Nature wants to snow every day and it's like 2 degrees out, but if things can get back to normal with her, as far as the weather is concerned, you should hopefully be able to have a regular season, quote unquote, regular, normal, and
Yeah.
then maybe not having those bumps early on can get you on a more consistent pace as the season goes on.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we've already had 2 scrimmages this year, which is infinitely times as many as we had last year. We had 0 last year. So it's been nice to get out onto the field early before the real games start.
Now, when the season ended, I mean, obviously you kind of have time to be able, well, in some cases, to be able to take a breath. I know, you play for your summer team, and I'm sure you're in constant contact with guys on the team. For you in particular, as the season ended and you basically went into the summer, what did you try to improve on and work on leading up to this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of things. I mean, as good as we were, you always want to get better, and there's always things you want to focus on. I mean, the entire last year, I just worked on hitting a low and a white pitch the entire season, and not try to do too much. And you're obviously going to try and fix some things throughout the season, but you're just kind of going out there. In summer ball, you're just trying to refine the skills. That's how I always look at it, because you had the whole, high school season to really improve and get your groove. And then summer, you just go out and you play. And, you get in front of some coaches, hopefully. And, along the way, you're friends with kids from other towns. You make those connections as well. But for me, just working on, staying within myself, not trying to do too much, just refining the approach and everything like that.
Now, obviously, the summer was a little bit more smooth as far as being able to get back to what we said earlier, which was normalcy. And then as the season progressed from the summer to the fall, for you, do you feel like that you were able to take the necessary steps, kind of leading up to this season, where you felt like you were maybe more prepared than last season because there were so many question marks?
Summer, you didn't know you were going to have a season. There was always that big question mark because, with the winter sports ending early last year and everything like that, you're like, oh crap, are we going to be able to get this done? Like,
Mhm.
but there was no worry like that this year, so you just kind of, you get your lifting in, you try to refine the body over the summer as well, just get stronger. And then, fall and winter, fall ball is always just about, like I said before, refining the skills, getting better, and just trying to stay as sharp as you can. And now I think we did some team lifting with Woodland this winter, team hitting, along with hitting for my travel team. So I think out of every season, this is, the one I'm most prepared for.
So before we had a little bit of a glitch with technology, God love technology. The
Like now,
question I had for you, Zach, was leading up to obviously this coming season. Was there anything in particular that you felt like maybe you need to prepare extra for? I know you mentioned how working on low and away. I know obviously the respect that you and a lot of your teammates have around the NVL is kind of like the same thing with St. Paul and Ryan Daniels. Don't throw him a fastball because he's going to hit about 5,000 feet.
yeah.
So how difficult is it going to be for you that you have to stay within your, I don't want to say stay in your lane, but don't try to expand the zone because then you start getting into bad habits.
No, I mean, I was lucky enough to hit behind Belch last year. And, Belch is a stud, all-state catcher, great hitter, hit over 400. And so I was lucky enough where, hey, I'm hitting behind him and they don't want to pitch to him. So they got to throw to me most of the time. And so I got lucky in that case where I got, a healthy dose of fastballs. I mean, obviously I got some breaking balls. Now this year you just kind of have to, you have to look at it a little bit differently. Like, it's not going to be the same way. Like, it's not the same lineup. You don't got Belch in front of you. We have a really good lineup, and there's a lot of guys that I wouldn't want to pitch to if I'm an opposing coach. But, if you see a couple you're going to see a little more curveballs here and there. You just you can't try to do too much. You can't try to yank them. You can't try to pull them and hit home runs. You just kind of got to take what you get and, just go the other way with it. You can't try and do too much. You just got to do if they give you something, you just do your best with what they give you.
As you've gotten older, have you been able to pick up the spin on the curveball and notice the changeup or anything? Because I know sometimes, even for players as they enter their 20s, 30s, sometimes picking up the spin on the curveball, they just can't, or being able to notice a changeup either on a grip or anything like that. Have you been able to figure that out by any chance?
I mean, yeah, I've been lucky enough to face some real good pitching in my life. Even guys that I've played with, getting a chance to square up against them. And, over time, you start to pick up things a little bit easier. You can see the curveball out of the hand and see the spin and everything like that. And the more pitchers you face, the more you're able, pick up tells, what guys do when they're going to throw certain pitches.
Mhm.
But, when I was younger, it was hard to pick up a curveball because, so close and not many kids threw it. But, over time, it's just become like, hey, this guy, this guy is going to have a fastball, breaking ball, changeup. It's just a matter of what kind of breaking ball, is it a 2-seam, a cutter, a 4-seam fastball? Like, so now it's just, trying to be able to differentiate between the two. But it's been, over time, you get more used to picking up stuff like that.
Who was the toughest pitcher that you faced thus far?
Wow, that's a good question. I faced some good kids. I mean, in regards to travel ball, we faced a kid last year. I think he was going to Maryland, throwing like 92 sinkers, slider. Like, that was filthy. High school, last year we faced some good arms. I mean, Tom Galusha, who's at Holy Cross and now he's up at Salisbury, he threw some gas with a great curveball. And I think high school, that's the velo wise is the fastest I've seen. We actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we scrimmaged Amity today. They got a lefty, Martin Zhang, going to Columbia. That might be up there too. 2-seam with heavy run on his fastball, high velo, great tight curveball. Those are just some of them. I mean, I play with Logan Bissett, who goes to Holy Cross in the summer, and when he's on, the kid is almost unhittable. And so that's another one. But, I faced some good arms. Definitely. It's hard to choose.
I can't say I'm shocked that Bissett is kind of taking after his brother Tim, who went to Bryant. I played with him for a year back when Waterbury Legion was a thing, and his brother was filthy. I mean, his stuff, his delivery, he was a bigger dude, first baseman, but his delivery was very kind of like lull you to sleep. And then he popped the mitt, throwing, I think it was high 80s to low 90s with heavy 2-seam run, both arm and glove side. But to hear that Logan is Logan catching still or no?
No, Logan's just pitching.
Just pitching. Okay.
I'm assuming he'll play third or short for Holy Cross this year. He did play third last year for them most of the time.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I'm glad he's doing well. I mean, again, taking after his brother. I remember when he was little. Now he's grown up.
Yeah. Also, Mike Belcher. I've only faced him a couple times in practice, but the kid's good. And that's not just because I'm his teammate. I mean, he's going to be special. He's a big kid. He's got a smooth delivery, and the ball just jumps out of his hand.
So is this a kid that I need to have on this podcast sometime, maybe?
I think so.
All right, then you're going to have to let me know if he's producing, so then that way he can come on.
I will put him in. I'll put you two in touch.
Awesome. And I'm sure Boehner's probably going to be saying the same thing too. Hey, if you keep pitching well, you can get on the podcast with my guy, Chris. Now, speaking of Boehner, because I got to ask, how has it been? Because last year was his first year, correct, with Woodland, right?
That was with us. Yeah, it was his first year.
So now going into year 2, not giving away any trade secrets here, but how has it been as far as now going into year 2 with him? I mean, has he kind of changed anything up a little bit? Because obviously, if you do the same thing, you're not going to be able to get, sometimes you won't get the same results. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he's a lot more relaxed. He knows the team more now. He's comfortable with the program and what we're doing. So I think in that regard, he's ready. I mean, he knows what he's got. He knows what we're going to go to work with. Coaching, he's still got Coach Frank Fedak, unbelievable coach, played infield at Iona. He's a jack of all trades, pitching, infielding. He knows it all, and he's a great asset to the team. We got some new coaches coming in. Kyle Plasky he moved down to Florida, so he's not coaching with us anymore. I mean, we loved Plas last year, but Coach Boehner brought in Neto. Coach Ty Neto, he used to play at Derby and down at Albertus, but he's coming up this year to help us a little bit. Mm-hmm. Then he also brought in Coach Adam Baker. Now, Coach Baker told me he knows you. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But
I do know him. Funny story. His late father was my teacher at Sacred Heart for a number of years. Adam used to work at the Rep Am. I have so much respect for Coach Baker. Got to give him respect. But I love Adam. Love him.
No, and so he's new to the staff this year. We love him. He was helping out our basketball team this year as well. But we love Coach Baker. So it's good. Those two guys are new. But with Coach Boehner, Coach Frank, Coach Lynch, and Coach Heller, it's a pretty familiar staff, and they're familiar with the guys, and we're familiar with them. So it's that feeling right away. It doesn't feel like we stopped. It kind of just it's like been this continuation, and we're looking forward to getting going.
Not to say I know all the names you said, but you mentioned another name, Neto, who I had on this podcast. And I remember when he was at Albertus, I didn't realize he wasn't even there anymore. So now he's coaching with you guys.
Yeah, he played at Derby when Coach Boehner was the coach there. So
yep,
he reached out to him, and he wanted to come in and come help us out a little bit. So he's been working with our catchers a lot. One of our hitting coaches as well.
He's a good catcher. I mean, he was at Derby. I don't remember. I didn't follow him after because with everything going on, but he was a solid catcher at Derby. And, he'll definitely be a benefit, especially too, because now with the graduation of the catcher who's now doing probably flying planes as we speak, it's good to have a guy like that, a young man like that, to kind of groom the next catcher or catchers for you.
He's a relatable guy. I mean, the best part about having Coach Plasky last year was, he was close enough in age with us that we got along with him. We respected him like a coach, but he still felt like, part of the team. And with Coach Ty, it's the same way. Hunter Simpson he's going to start as a catcher this year. He's a senior, and to be fair, he's got some big shoes to fill, but I think he's ready to go. He's been ready to go. He's been working hard, and he's known our pitchers. We played with him since we were young. And, I think he's going to have a big season for us this year.
As you would say, Ty's close to being hip compared to probably Boehner and Baker and all them, right? Because I don't think those two, and maybe they are and I'm wrong, but I highly doubt they're listening to the kind of music that you guys listen to.
No, I think we were inside in the gym hitting the other day, and Coach Boehner, he goes, "Yeah, I don't care what music you guys listen to. I just don't like the new rap." And that, that's all we but it's nice having someone like that, a player, a guy who's, been to the next level, and all those guys, most of them have been to the next level, which is another great asset to have for the team. But Ty's been there so recently, and he provides some great experience and wisdom, even though he's so young.
And it helps too, when you consider that with the experience that you had last year, plus having, not to say that the staff that is not there anymore and they will be missed, but to be able to kind of regain and have that experience playing at the next level or playing further, or whatever the case may be, it's only going to help when you guys have a rough patch, maybe a couple innings, maybe a rough game or two, maybe in the state tournament, if you qualify, which I would hope you would, that maybe potentially if you're having a bad couple innings, you give up a 5 spot. It's good to have coaches like that.
No, and guys that can just settle the ship, and every one of them can do it in their own specific way too. I mean, Coach Frank is usually the one that'll get on you, or him and Coach Boehner. But then Coach Boehner has, the calming side. Like he's never worried. He's trying to get you to relax. And Coach Baker will just make you laugh. He'll loosen everything up. Like you'll have to take him seriously at times, but like if you're tight and you're worried and you need to loosen up, like if you go over and talk to Coach Baker, he'll mellow you out real quickly.
Yeah, Coach Baker was a part of the Derby basketball staff a while back, and he was the same way. And I'm glad that he's sticking to his strengths as far as with you guys up at Woodland. Zach, it's great to be able to have you on, buddy. I got a couple more questions for you. One, as far as yourself, obviously, I know you're going off to play college at the end of this year. You're going to play at Western New England, and it's great to be able to have, see you play at the next level. Anybody that can play at the next level, it's fantastic. How difficult, because I'm sure you're exuberant, you're excited, the fact that you're going off to play in college. Are you able to kind of separate that for the time being and being able to be like, okay, I have this season, my last year of high school, I want to get through this before I can really be excited for college?
100%. I mean, coming down the end of the year, as a senior, you got things to look forward to just outside of sports as well. You got your prom, graduation, all the senior activities. But in regards to baseball, I'm just focused on this year. I'm a team captain and I take that really seriously. So, I'm just focused on not just myself, but the team, making sure everything's going to go right for us. And, it wouldn't be fair to them if I was focused on, just going to college to play baseball. Because if I was doing that, I wouldn't be giving my 100% to the team.
Now, when was the last time that Woodland won a state championship? Would you know that?
In baseball, there's never been one. There's never been one. Yeah. I mean, we've only been open. This is our 20th year, 21st year now. 21st year. Then we opened in 2001. So there's never been a baseball state championship, 2 for football and 1 for volleyball, but that's it.
And both for football were by Coach Anderson, who's now the head coach at Naugatuck.
Yeah. Coach Anderson, great health teacher too.
Oh, he's a great dude. The amount of games I did for Naugatuck, seeing him, he's done wonders with the program. But yeah, no, it's funny that you say that. And I did not realize that Woodland has not won one for baseball, because I think about all of the great players that have come through Woodland. I mean, I'm going back to when I was, so close to my age, Thomas Arsenal, who was a fantastic right-handed pitcher, threw like a hundo, I think. Disgusting. DiBiase, who was a catcher, Jack DiBiase, if I remember right. And there's many, many more I could say. But Woodland's had so much talent to come through. And I know just they've come to ever so close. And you guys came close. And I feel like at some point, you guys keep knocking on the door. At some point, somebody's going to answer.
Yeah. We don't really think about that. It's so far ahead. We just kind of want to focus. We take it one game at a time. And, we got Ansonia this upcoming Saturday, first game of the year. And it doesn't matter what we did last year in the state playoffs and what we want to do, in the state playoffs and the AML playoffs coming up. We're not going to get there if we don't beat Ansonia game 1. And if we have the mentality, looking ahead, we're going to overlook some games along the way and maybe drop one that we shouldn't. So, the whole mentality going into the season is just take it one game at a time. Take it one game at a time, win every game, focus on what we have at hand, and take care of business.
And Sony will be tough because they've got a pretty good pitcher. Palmer, I think is his last name, plays basketball. I think Brendan Palmer. I could be wrong on the first name.
Yeah.
He also plays basketball. Yeah.
Yeah. He actually just committed to University of Bridgeport the other day.
Did he? See, I did not even know that.
Yeah, Brendan's a great pitcher. I faced him a lot growing up. Really good late life on his fastball, big, tall righty, good curveball. And, it's a tough draw opening day. You're always going to face an ace on opening day, but he's the guy that like you go in and you game plan for, and you got to game plan for it because it's going to be tight.
Now, real quick, before I let you go, I got to ask you, as far as speaking of aces. So if you had to face one major league pitcher, it could be past, present, it could be future, it could be a dude in college. Doesn't matter. Who would you want to face, and would you get a hit off them?
I would choose to go down 1, 2, 3 to Jacob DeGrom any day of the week. I'm a huge Mets fan, so if I'm stepping in the box, I would gladly get blown away by 301 mile an hour fastballs or 395 mile an hour sliders. I think just to get in the box and face someone like that would be fun. What
would your approach be to him? I mean, is there even an approach to him?
Close your eyes and try to make contact. I mean, I don't know how do you go up and face that? It boggles my mind.
95 mile per hour. Like, we're not joking. His sliders are between 90 to 93 and sometimes even 95. I've seen it. It's like, how is that even possible?
And he's like 33. His velo goes up as he gets older, and that's just not how things should work.
Now, he barely pitched when he was in college, and I think high school too. So his arm is fresh.
I mean, he played shortstop at Stetson, didn't start pitching until his like junior year.
Yeah. Yeah. And Stenson, Stenson's produced a lot of pitchers. They had a kid, Logan Gilbert, some years ago, drafted by the Mariners. They're producing some dudes.
Yeah. I mean, and he got Tommy John, I think, right after college too. And so his fresh. And so if I'm getting in a box and I'm facing anyone, I would gladly go up there and look embarrassingly bad to face Jacob DeGrom.
It's funny that he had Tommy John before they actually could pronounce his name, because they used to say Jacob DeGrom, not DeGrom.
Yeah, now they had to change the back of his jersey too. Now that's all cat. Like it's.
Yeah.
But no, anybody him 100%.
You know what? Not a bad choice. I can't say that, not many people have gotten a hit off him, which is the truth. But Zach, it's great to be able to have you on, buddy. I wish you nothing but the best of luck this season. I'll be keeping track of the Woodland Hawks as always, because obviously Boehner's my guy, and I have a lot of respect for him. Obviously, now that I know you have Baker on your staff, which is great, and obviously the team, because you guys just keep it rolling. I wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And, I think we're all looking forward to it. This season, just building off of last year, but we just got to take them one game at a time. And, the grind, it's a grind, it's a marathon, not a race. And we're looking forward to it.
That'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. AmeriCT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm Drewry, the Find Them All. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.